Hey everyone, this is Cluster API provider for Bring Your Own Host, office hours of 23rd Feb 2022. So we abide by CNCF Code of Conduct, and please use raise hand feature of Zoom to ask any questions or if you have any concerns. And I guess then we can get started. So maybe you can add your names in the attending section. And if you have any agenda items for today, that can be added inside agenda section. So for today, we do have new folks. We can start by welcoming them. So maybe Sachin, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Ranjit. So hello, folks. I'm Sachin. I just started working with VMware as a part of the iOS team. I previously had some experience contributing to communities, so I'm really excited to continue that and learn a lot of new things from you folks and while working on the project. So yeah, very excited to be here.
Great. Purna, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Purna, and I've just joined the TKG Edge team as the PM. This is my first office hours, and I'm really curious to see what it's about. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome. So yeah, so we have 3 items in the agenda today. So I can start with the milestone that we are currently working on. So this is 0.1.1. To give some context, so last year around November or December, so we started to create milestones in GitHub to have more control over releases and the developments that we are doing. And the last release that we have is 0.1.0. And for the current milestone, we are not introducing any new features. We are focusing more around the stability of the product, and in this the areas which we are focusing on are around improving and adding more documentation so the end users, they can quickly onboard to this cluster API provider. Also to work around end-to-end test to introduce or improve the tests that we already have, increase their frequency of triggering. And the third aspect is to improve on code quality. So this again is related to the lint issues that we have, and if certain part of code requires refactors, so that is included in this. And another aspect is to improve the code coverage that we already have. So majority of the issues are falling under these 3 areas only, and accordingly we have labeled the various issues with these labels. So most of the issues for this milestone, they are already done, and some are there which are in still in progress. And we are planning to complete this milestone and have a release by the end of the next week, or maybe early next to next week. So one aspect which I would like to speak about is the code coverage aspect. So in this milestone, so we aimed at increasing the code coverage, and to do that, first we set up the integration with CodeCov to see the current code coverage that we have and how we are increasing over time. And after that, we have various issues to like increase the test coverage for various components of Bring Your Own Host, be it installer or agent or controllers that we have. So code coverage currently it is 68%, and you can like go to this portal that is CodeCov, and you can see how it is getting improved over time. So before when we started this milestone, we were at around 56, and currently we are like close to 68%. Yep. So yeah, the important thing to note here is like we are not introducing any new features. We are just working on code quality and stability of the product in this release. Any questions or anything? Okay. So yeah, Anusha, would you like to talk about the next two items?
Yes. So the second, the BYH roadmap is just an update. That's because, like we saw, we had 011 milestone, and that is almost coming to an end. And we are aware that we have not defined any future milestones. But BYH being a new provider, I think we all know that there's like a lot of features that need to go in terms of improving the security at the agent side. And if you all gone through the installer workflow, it is pretty clear that we have a tight coupling with what Kubernetes version we support and what OS. So it's also important that we introduce some sort of flexibility there. So that's also what we think is important for BYOH. But I'm bringing this up because I've seen other open source projects usually define 2 or 3 milestones ahead, and that can keep changing, but it's good to have visibility within the community. So I just want to say that we are all new to open source, so maybe there might be a delay a little bit here and there, but we want to get a roadmap out there so that everybody is aware of what is going on with the project. So that's still in the making. We hope to have it out in like a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's just an update. I can go to the next item. Yeah. So this is a comparison doc. So a little bit context behind this, I think for new folks who join. So initially when we started with BYOH, Avishai from Red Hat, they reached out to us because they also had a similar agent-based provider. And it actually makes sense for all of us to collaborate as one single project. But BYOH in its current form cannot be directly used by other people who are interested in the project. So we tried to come up with few proposals that can make BYOH work for everyone. So Lifecycle Hooks was the second such proposal. And when we got the proposal out there, we realized Cluster API is doing something similar. They have a runtime extensions proposal going on that revolves around Lifecycle Hooks. So what Dharmjit and I did was we went through both the proposals and we tried to list down the similarities and differences. So this doc is purely based on our understanding. I just want to provide a disclaimer that we don't completely understand the Cluster API proposal, but we think this is what it is. And I don't want to walk through the doc. It would be great if folks can review it offline and provide comments. Just the conclusion part of it is that for BYOH as a project, I think we should take a decision on what is the best next step, because if Cluster API is providing similar feature and if that is going to come pretty soon, it might make sense to actually join efforts with the Cluster API community and get this feature out there faster, because that means that's reduced maintenance overhead for us, because we know someone at the CAPI community is actually supporting this part of the code. So that's one of our reasoning, but feel free to challenge it, or if you agree, feel free to please do a +1 so that we can take it forward. So just I think an hour before, I had started a thread on Cluster API, and Stefan, who is one of the Cluster API maintainers, also suggested if it makes sense if we join forces. So if that's something everybody agrees on, I think we can start discussions with the CAPI community, or yeah, let's just talk about it, I guess.
Avishai has some questions. Avishai, yeah, please.
A couple questions. First, do we understand the status and the timelines of that proposal? Is it something that's generally accepted and will start being worked on, or things like that? And the second question, if they're looking at it from the perspective of extending Cluster API, well, we're looking at it from the perspective of extending this provider. And so does it match up?
Okay, probably I can give it a try. So as per the timeline, right? So the runtime extension proposals has moved from a doc to a proposal PR. So if I don't know if there are any CAPI folks on the call, they can correct me if I'm wrong. So I think once that PR is accepted, that's when the work will begin in the Cluster API community. And as the first iteration, they're not going to support providers. That is very clear because that's a future goal. But having said that, I think I think they have listed that as future goal because there's not enough demand from providers per se. So if we kind of say this is important to us, can you please extend it to providers and offer help? Probably that's something that could be worked on, I guess. But timeline wise, I think it's best to check with Fabrizio and Stefan as to when it will be available. Does that answer, Avishai? Okay, thank you. We could probably start an async thread or just continue in the upstream Slack conversation that I started. Yeah, I think we can take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I just want to get a sense of like, what is your opinion on the different proposals that we have?
Yes, still it would be great, like if folks can go through this doc and provide their feedback.
Overall, maybe it makes sense to, I think helping out with the general effort is definitely a good direction, but also not waiting for that. Maybe like if we started working on the life cycle hooks ourselves, and then we would maybe better understand what kind of hooks are needed so that it can be contributed to the general effort. Maybe that would be helpful.
I think one point that Stefan raised was like, if it is absolutely necessary that we have to duplicate some parts of it, then we should make sure that we do as much less breaking change as possible, keeping that in mind. So I think that also makes sense. But Avishai, do you have like any timeline in mind?
No, just, better sooner than later. Like not
Okay.
to, if it's going to take a year to get something off the ground, then, better not to wait.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Richard, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, so there is the timing thing, isn't there? You are baking that dependency in. But yeah, I guess Stefan was sort of alluding to that we could start to reuse the CRDs and some of those, even if it wasn't part of the, actually joined up, so to speak, so that we're still using the same API types and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to think about it more. I literally only just read this morning when I woke up the thread that was going on.
Yes, sorry, the first time I shared, I didn't share the doc. Thanks, Amjad, for pointing that out. Okay, thank you. So I think probably takeaway from this would be to continue the discussion with CAPI folks. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Anusha. So we do not have any more agenda items, but folks, if you have anything in general to discuss, maybe we can discuss now. Okay, if no questions or nothing to talk about, maybe we can close the call. That's it for today's agenda. So it was quick. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.